Hi friends, today it's dive into me. A few weeks ago I asked you guys for Q&A questions to celebrate the 20,000 subscriber milestone that I just hit, and you guys sent a bunch of questions, a lot more than I was expecting, so I've kind of gone through and picked out like my favorites, and Ben is going to ask them to me. This is Ben, by the way.
Hi, I'm Ben. Axel Despande asked, who is your favorite character from Hunger Games?
Effie Trinket, definitely. If I had to pick just one, it had to be Effie. It's why I have a pop of her there.
Potato number 1 asked, if you were to marry a Hunger Games character, who would it be? Answer honestly.
Okay, well, I won't lie. Also, I love your new username. Some of you guys have the best, like, usernames. If I had to marry a Hunger Games character, who would I? Bye. Who would I marry? Probably Cinna. My dog attacking the pin.
James the Dachshund. I have another question. Which Hunger Games character is the most like you?
I don't know. I mean, I relate a lot to like Joanna because she's gone through a lot of stuff. I've gone through a lot of stuff. The trauma is real. That's really dark. I'd say Joanna, I guess.
Another question from Potato number 1. If you were in the Hunger Games, what weapon would you take? Bow and arrow, set of knife, or sword? Also, hi, how are you doing?
Doing good. Doing pretty. I don't know what I would take. I don't think I'd take anything. I wouldn't get anywhere near the cornucopia. I'd die like that. Like, honest. I'd probably fall off the pedestal and blow up, to be honest.
James Bagley asks, do you wish we saw a lot more of the districts in the Hunger Games films? We never saw District 1, 3, 9, 10. We saw District 4, 6, 8, 11 on the victory tour, but only cries of people.
Definitely wish we'd seen more. I think that's kind of my problem with the Hunger Games kind of universe, even in the books, is we don't see much of anything outside of like the capital and 12. We see little bits of other places, but not much. And I do wish we'd seen a lot more, like that the universe is a lot more expanded. But I also like very expanded universes. Like I love The Lord of the Rings and Game of Thrones because it's so expanded. Like, you know, everything about everything. So, yeah.
Rishi now asks, do you think that Peter may be a danger to Katniss in the future, even though he looks fine now?
See, I don't really like this question because it has a connotation that people who have gone through trauma will regress and become a danger, which can happen, but under appropriate therapy wouldn't happen. So, I mean, I'd like to think he wouldn't because he has gone through very extensive behavioral therapy. And yeah, just from a personal standpoint, I like to think that he's healed. Like, it would be nice to know that he won't try and kill her.
James Bagley asks, do you wish we knew more about the other victors who weren't in the 75th Hunger Games? And especially the events of the Victor's Purge. Like, there was 50-ish victors alive at the time of the 75th Hunger Games, but by the end of Mockingjay there were only 7 left. It's like, where did they go and how did the Capitol kill the rest of them?
No, definitely. As I was saying earlier on, I like knowing everything. So yeah, I wish we'd know more about the other victors, other districts, just like what life is like in the different districts, like the capital and the different districts. I wish there was a lot more detail to it, for sure.
Another one from James Bagley, how many subscribers are you aiming for in the future?
As many as I can get. I don't have a set number in mind because I don't want to be disappointed if I don't reach it, which I know would happen, so I'm just cruising along and we'll see where we go.
Farah Bow asks, if you could bring one Hunger Games character back from the dead, who would it be?
It's a good question, I'll have to think about it. One character. Probably Prim. Because Katniss sacrificed so much for her sister and lost her, and I think that's devastating, and Prim had such a huge future ahead of her. So probably Prim.
J. Rode asks, favorite series, favorite contemporary book, ideal date night, and strongest theory?
My favorite book series is the His Dark Materials series. Favorite contemporary book? I don't think I've read anything recent. I'm terrible at I just tend to reread old stuff over and over and over and over again. I mean, would Mackenzie's Mission count? It's like a true story about a couple whose child unfortunately died and how they're trying to change the way like genetic testing happens in Australia and throughout the world. So it's not like a fun story, and it's not like a story, but it's a very good read. What were the other questions?
Ideal date night.
Ooh. Probably going scuba diving. For those of you who don't know, Ben scuba dives also. So yeah, probably going scuba diving and then eating dinner on the beach or something. I like the beach.
Strongest theory.
Don't know what my strongest one would be. What would you say? Because Ben helps me a lot with these videos. A lot of you guys are like, oh my god, you're so smart, you come up with so much. I'm like, Ben helps.
I don't know which one's the strongest.
I find a lot of them are very strong.
Yeah.
And then a lot of them are not. I think probably like the recent one I did about the trackers is probably one of my strongest. Yeah. Just because the bits that are theoretical make so much sense that it wouldn't make sense if it wasn't that.
Yeah.
So I'd probably say that one. Also probably because that's the only one I can think of, because that's the most recent one I worked on.
Jacqueline Reese asks, what is your favorite movie/show to pick apart for theories? Side note, I love all the different colored lipstick you wear in your videos.
Thank you, I also love the lipstick I wear. My favourite series to pick apart, and I haven't actually picked it apart yet, is His Dark Materials. It honestly really is my favourite book series, and it really, really bugs me because Ben hasn't read them and won't read them. He doesn't have the attention span to read. The Ballad of Songbirds and Snakes, he started it in when?
When it came out.
When it came out, and he's like 60 pages.
70 pages.
Oh, I'm sorry, 70 pages. No, Ben doesn't have the attention span to read things.
No.
I've read His Dark Materials probably easily like 10 times. And we're watching the show, like we watched the first season together, and you really enjoyed it.
Yeah, it's a good.
But I can't talk to you about anything because I'm going to spoil stuff. And I don't mind spoilers, I really don't care. Often I actually enjoy getting spoilers. I don't know why. Ben is the opposite, he hates spoilers.
Yeah.
So sometimes he'll be like, oh, I think this is going to happen next. I'm like, and I can't say anything. So that's definitely my favourite series to pick apart, in the sense that I can't wait to be able to pick it apart because I know it so well and it's my favourite like thing to read. But we need to hurry up and get more seasons of the show for me to do that, because those of you who know the entire series know that a lot of the like, ooh, what if questions from like book 1 get answered later on, so I'm not going to do those because that's not interesting for me and it's not theoretical. But I can't do anything until there's more. I really need more seasons. I'm done. I'm done on my rant.
Despante? By the way, I'm sorry if I'm butchering all these names.
I asked him to help me, he's like, okay, but this wasn't the best
Also,
idea.
what's your favorite color of lipstick?
This one or the like khaki one that I wear? This one's your favorite.
Yes.
This one I'm wearing is your favorite. But like I also like the khaki one. Or the Tiffany blue one. I like too many. For you guys, there was no break. For us, there was like a 20-minute break because our daughter woke up. So we're getting back into things. Go.
Hello, I am a turkey asks, 1.
Wait, that was the name? Hello, I am a turkey?
Yes.
I thought it was the start of it.
No, it's the username.
That's a brilliant username.
1. Who would you choose as an ally in the Hunger Games?
Katniss, she wins. She could help me survive longer. I don't know.
2. You wear a lot of bright colored lipsticks. Which is your favorite? I've already answered that one.
I was going to say, then we just answered.
Yeah. 3. What is your favorite Harry Potter x Hunger Games ships? Example, Harry x Katniss, Hermione x Peter, Ginny x Gale, etc.
I don't have any. So, none.
The Cat B asks, do you have a regular job or is YouTube full-time? I love the videos and admire how much time and effort you put into them. Stay safe.
Thank you. I do technically have a real job. I'm a scuba diving instructor. At the moment, I'm not teaching. So at the moment, YouTube's my real job.
Siren Forest asks, when and why did you start doing YouTube?
So I started in June 2018. I have to confirm the year because I have no brain. Why? Because I'm a nerd and I missed writing essays. When I was in high school, I took 3 extra hours of English a week, which was purely for analysing/over-analysing books and then writing essays about them. And I really missed that after school, but there was no reason for me to over-analyse stuff and write essays about it because there was no reason. I wasn't going to be able to share it with anyone. And I was wondering, how could I share it with people? And a few friends of mine were saying, like, why don't you start a YouTube channel? Because a lot of other like creators do that kind of stuff and it's quite popular and they seem to have a lot of fun with it and other people have a lot of fun with it. So I thought, why not give it a go? It was also something for my social anxiety. A lot of you don't know I have crippling social anxiety, like really bad. I can't order food at a restaurant or anything like that. Like I don't leave the house. It's the easiest way for me, basically. And so being in front of a camera was going to help me get over some of my anxiety, which it has. So that's kind of why.
Married O'Kane asks, do you have any pets?
I do. You saw her at the beginning of the video. She's called Nanny. She's an Italian greyhound. She's currently asleep in her bed, which is off camera over there. But yes, we have Nanny. She is 3 years old and she's the best.
Vivian Baston asked, why did you move from Belgium to Australia?
There's multiple reasons. We wanted to leave Europe anyway. We had been looking at Canada or Iceland or just kind of anywhere really that spoke English, that wasn't the United States. I could get into that in a different video if needed. I won't here. But yeah, we just wanted to leave Europe because when we were in Europe there was a pretty bad like difference in like climate, not like weather but like environment. Towards like the last few years we were in Europe there was a few terror attacks, especially there was one in Brussels, and after that there was armed soldiers on every street corner with like machine guns, and there would be tanks driving past like just schools and stuff. And it made us realise we didn't want to live in an environment where there's literally armed soldiers everywhere and it becomes normal to see an armed soldier. And we knew we wanted kids and we especially didn't want our kids growing up thinking this was normal, so we wanted to go somewhere where there's not armed soldiers at every street corner. And also part of that was like there was that like terror alert when I was working in the centre of town. Around the time I was working in the centre of town in Brussels, there had been a few like bomb alerts, and it was around the Christmas time and they were building a Christmas market, and the little huts, the roofs are metal. I remember one day one of the metal roofs fell off and literally everybody in the area, like there was this massive bang and everyone just like hit the floor, and like we crawled behind our counters and we're like, what is happening? Is that a terror attack? And that's when I realised I needed to leave. I couldn't live in that kind of an environment anymore. So it's not like a really like happy positive story as to why we left Belgium, but we picked Australia mainly for your studies because there was a good university here for Ben to do his master's degree at. And I had been to Australia with my parents and absolutely fell in love and adored it, and it just kind of made sense, so we thought let's just move.
Soggy Bread asked if you were to be in...
Nothing against you, just the idea of soggy bread, just blah.
If you were to be in the Hunger Games, what will you do to survive?
I won't survive. You guys think so highly of me. I often get questions from you guys saying like, you would like win the Hunger Games, how far do you think you get in the Hunger Games, what's your strategy for the Hunger Games? Yo, I'm unfit. My strategy is hope I don't die, but I wouldn't get anywhere. So to your questions of what would I do to survive, anything I possibly can, knowing I would probably die in the bloodbath, if not before, knowing me.
827 Productions, Drew Bailey asks, do you like pineapples on pizza?
Personally, I do. Ben doesn't. Here's a weird thing about pineapples. You don't want to share.
They make you cold hair when you eat them.
He claims you get cold in your face if you eat a pineapple. Don't ask. I personally like pineapple on pizza. I will just I guess not preface, but say that because I like it doesn't mean I think badly of people who don't like it, and doesn't mean I'm going to force others to have it. It's just I like it.
Bailey Townsend asks, what theory have you made that you think should be canon?
So this kind of links into like which is my strongest theory, but this is what I think should be canon, so kind of what I would like to see as canon is how I'm taking it, / how I'm answering it. What theory would I would like to see as canon? I'm trying to think of my theories. The problem is I always get stuck on like the last 3 I've done because they're the most recent ones and those are the only ones my brain can think of. What should be canon? What do you think should be canon? I'm gonna stall and use you.
The one where Seneca Crane's actually a rebel.
Oh, that's a good one. Use that one. That's a good answer. No, that one's a really, really good. That sounds really bad. I'm like, that's a really good theory. Oh, I came up with it. No, I genuinely think that's a really good theory. That was probably one of my craziest theory moments also, because it's literally one scene that I was like, oh, we can use this.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Ellen Farmery asks, also, how did you first get into the Hunger Games?
So, I first got into the Hunger Games because my best friend was really, really into them. And she kept telling me, you'd really like this series, it's really up your alley, it's like something you would really enjoy reading, and I really think you should read it. And everybody in our school was reading it, and I was kind of at that like teenage phase of like, if everybody else is doing it, I'm not gonna do it. So I didn't want to read them, and she pushed me for weeks. She's stubborn. And if you're watching this, you are stubborn. I'm not gonna say her name because I don't think she wants her name out there, but you're stubborn. Anyway, she was pushing me for weeks, and at one point I said, if I read them, will you just leave me alone about it and shut up? And she said yes, so I borrowed them off of a different friend and I read them within like a day. I immediately fell in love with them. But yeah, it's basically because my friend wouldn't leave me alone about it. So I guess I have her to thank.
Ellen Farmery asks you, what inspired you to start Story Diver?
So yeah, I touched on this a bit earlier on. I think a bit I hadn't talked about was that there were other channels that really helped kind of inspire how I wanted it to look.
Mm-hmm.
Like the Super Coen Brothers channel really helped kind of cement that this is something I could do and wanted to do. So yeah, I kind of forgot to add that before, so I'm adding it in now.
McKnock asks, will you please review A Ballad of Songbirds and Snake? I'd love to hear your thoughts on it. Do you think there will be a follow-up?
My review? It's terrible. I genuinely didn't like it. So I mentioned I read the Hunger Games books really quickly. I legit read them. So it was technically over the course of a weekend, but over the course of that weekend, I spent time with my friends. We had some family friends over that we were showing around town, and we went to dinner and lunch with them every day. I had loads and loads of homework. It was around exam season, so I was studying for exams. I was looking after my little brother, and I still read all 3 of those books. I think I slept like 4 hours total that weekend. Not a smart move on my part. Whereas The Ballad of Songbirds and Snakes took me about 6 weeks to read, which is very unusual for me. Again, those of you in my Discord, we've talked about that I'm a stupid fast reader, but I didn't like The Ballad of Songbirds and Snakes. I thought it was stupid predictable, like ridiculously predictable. The pacing was terrible in it. Personally, I didn't find the characters very interesting, especially President Snow was a very basic character. I know a lot of people are like, oh, it's so interesting to see how he became who he was, and I don't know if this is because I've read a lot, but it's a very typical character trope. It's nothing special, it's nothing different, and it just felt very, very much like pretty bad fan fiction to me, to be honest. So I personally really didn't enjoy it. I don't think there's going to be more books because I know a lot of like professional reviews and critics didn't enjoy it, and also she stated that this was a standalone book. So I hope there's not more books, because honestly I really didn't enjoy it.
Charlie Ward asks, will you make more Hunger Games content?
I get these questions all the time and I don't understand why. I have not once said I'm not gonna make it anymore. I've started straying away from it with like the character spotlights, but that's because, guys, there's only so many characters in that series I can cover. The ones that aren't on the channel or on the Patreon page, I've literally done pretty much every single character. Ben knows, because every couple of weeks I'm like, there must be someone from the Hunger Games I haven't covered yet, but I have. So that's why the character spotlight's not Hunger Games anymore, but at the moment there's no reason for me to stop, and it's possible in the future I'll start doing theories with other things also. As I said, I want to like move on to His Dark Materials, but I'll probably always keep some Hunger Games content up there. So I don't know why I get asked like, don't ever stop Hunger Games content or this kind of stuff so often, because like I've never said I would. It just confuses me.
Brielle asks, how do you decide what color lipstick you wear in a video? Is it based on your outfit or just how you're feeling that day? By the way, it's so awesome how you can pull off every lipstick color there is. Love your bit.
Oh, thank you. It's very nice. Sometimes it's based off of the outfit I want to wear. Sometimes I pick the outfit based on the lipstick. So in this case, I wanted to wear this lipstick, therefore found a top that would work with it. So sometimes it's literally just, oh, I want to wear this t-shirt for this video for whatever reason. oh, I want to wear this lipstick, and then I try and kind of coordinate as much as I can. And sometimes I don't coordinate much, and I just kind of put on something random because I feel like it, but most times I try and coordinate it.
Xenorax asks, when are you going to do a video on the Ballad of Songbirds and Snakes?
I get this question all the time, and I've answered it all the time. That's not an attack on you, it's just, I probably get this question like 5 to 10 times a day, so I'm kind of like had enough of it at this point. They have announced that a movie will be coming. Therefore, once the movie is released, not in cinema, but I can actually buy it and legally use it in videos, that's when I'm going to make videos on the Ballad of the Songbirds and Snakes. Follow-up question I always get is, why wait? The book is so much better and there's always so much more detail in a book, blah blah blah. Yes, but as you guys know, I use clips in my videos to help back up my points. It makes editing more interesting for me. I find it makes the videos more interesting because you're not just looking at my boring face the entire time. But also, movies give a different perspective to the books, especially movies where the author helps direct or helps write or helps produce or is part of the movie. There's different elements that they put into the movie that they didn't put into the book, either because they kind of changed their mind later on, or because this element that they thought of would work better for a movie than it did in the book. So it's kind of a secondary level of canon. So the book is, in my opinion, always more canon than the movie. But the movie is still canonical if the author has helped like work on it, and therefore it gives you different perspectives. Like the Seneca Crane video we were just talking about, that scene doesn't exist in the book whatsoever, but it does in the movie, and gives kind of a different perspective to things. So I'm waiting for the movie to come out. They have announced it. They haven't announced a date. That's always a follow-up question I get also. It's probably going to take a while because now with COVID they're unable to film, so probably give it a couple years, but once the movie is released, I'll be making videos on it, for sure. Just, we need to wait for the movie.
My dog Sadie asks, how's your baby, what's its name?
So our daughter's called Rowena, and she's very good. It's actually her 6-month birthday today as we film, which is on the 21st of September. She turned 6 months. She's doing really well. She has 2 teeth. She crawls. She punches. She's in a punchy mood at the moment. Like, you'll hold her and she just goes like, pa, pa, pa on your face, which is a lot of fun. No, but she's doing very well. She's very good. What do you think? You think she's doing well?
Yes.
She's good.
Shabby Fufu Yay.
Again, I'm not laughing at you. Some of these just take me by surprise. I think they're brilliant.
This is really exciting. I love the Hunger Games and your channel so much. My question is, what do you like to do when you're not diving and creating awesome Hunger Games theories? Example, hobbies.
I like to sleep. I'm probably saying that because we have a baby and we just don't sleep anymore. I like to sleep. No, obviously, like outside of hobbies, I like spending time with Ben and with Nanny, the dog, who's still passed out. She sleeps a lot. She's ridiculous. I like to read, believe it or not. I spend a lot of my time reading, and yet my to-be-read pile still just grows all the time. I guess we watch a lot of TV.
Yeah.
We play board games and like tabletop games. What else do I do for fun? I go swimming. That's not scuba diving. That's a different thing. I used to like cross stitch and stuff, but since having a baby, I don't have the time. I think the main thing I do in my free time is I sleep or I read. Mainly sleep at this point. I'm sorry, that's a very boring grown-up answer. You'd probably like wanted me to do something cool like roller derby or like axe throwing or something cool, but no, I read books or I sleep.
J.A. Howe asks, what was your favorite character to actor casting in The Hunger Games?
Is that because it's like a million questions?
Yes.
Probably Lenny Kravitz as Cinna. First of all, he's very good looking. Just have to throw that out there. And I don't know, I just found he embodied Cinna so well, and he's such a good actor. And he really fit the character's description. So that's who I would say.
Ella Chadwick asks, are you Team Gale or Team Peter? Like if you were Team Gale.
Remember I answered your comment saying, I'm only liking it so I can find this again for the video. I'm personally Team Peter. I don't agree with a lot of Gale's ethics, or lack thereof. Just the fact that he feels that human life is disposable and that kind of stuff. I personally don't agree with it. And I like Katniss and Peter's dynamic at like the end of the series, not all the fake stuff at the beginning, but when they're actually genuinely falling in love. I really enjoy that dynamic. So yeah, Team Peter. Hi friends, it's Editing Jess here, hence I'm in my pajamas. Don't mind that. This video turned out to be quite a bit longer than I anticipated, so I'm gonna cut it up into 2 parts. So part 1 is what you just watched now on Tuesday, and then part 2 will come up on Friday. I'm really sorry about that, but I don't want to make a video that was like ridiculously long. You might hear Nanny barking in the background, sorry. But yeah, I wanted to still keep all the questions that I picked out, so that's the compromise. I'm doing 2 videos. So that's it for today, but I'll see you guys on Friday. Happy bubbles!